And he fades to black. Oh well. Hey, that's good. That still works. You know, there are guys on YouTube that spend hours and hours and hours in production and everything else, and we just kind of it's a live show.
We wing it.
We wing it, and it works pretty good, I think. Most times we have some fun with it anyway. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. First of all, I'd like to welcome back Royal Astronomical Society of Canada member, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton. Hey, Paul.
How you doing?
And we've also got Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike.
Hey, good evening.
I'm not sure which way he is, but I'm
that way.
Down there for me. Yep. Hey, there's a bunch joining us already. There's Lisa, Yves, Ray, and Aline, and Stefan, and we've got Bruce over on YouTube. So welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, tonight on tonight's show, we've got another full show planned for you. We're going to talk a little bit about galaxy season, which is right now, I guess, started now, and going to continue for a little while longer. This time of year, as we look out into deep space, we get to enjoy views of many other galaxies. And depending on where we look, it's possible to see at least a couple in your eyepiece at any one time. Certainly a couple when you're starting to look in some of the areas we're going to see tonight. Tonight, Mike and Paul and I will have a little bit of an informal talk here about galaxy season and where to look to find the best treasures. We're also going to take a look at some space news this week. We'll also have another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts, of course, and all of your wonderful photo submissions. So as always, we'll take all your questions on telescopes, binoculars, stargazing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I also want to mention, too, that we have got a number of requests. I want to thank everybody, first of all. At the end of the episode, I always usually mention that we've got, to give us your ideas if there's something that you want to talk about on a particular show. And I've received about a dozen so far, so it's excellent because I've got lots of ideas to talk to these guys about that we haven't really discussed yet. One of them was on binoculars themselves, and we sent one from Paul from the UK was on, and he mentioned about doing a binocular target of the week. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. So maybe that's what we'll start with next week. Another little chunk of segment in there, so we'll do a binocular target of the week, and that'll help us. Because a lot of people have binoculars already, and it's a nice starting point when you're trying to get into the hobby when you're into stargazing. So, so we'll probably start with that segment next week. But this week we're going to do a What's Up in Space. Probably next week I'll do a Where Are They Now kind of talk, because there's a couple of nice missions going on right now, including one called Gaia. Which is it's revealed more information than any other mission out there yet. I'm going to talk a little bit about that actually in my What's Up in Space talk. Okay. And here comes the bazookas.
One's ready for next week.
Okay. So sit back, folks, and enjoy. And remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky, we're happy to try and answer them here for you. So let's get started then with another look at what's new in space. And there's Paul from the UK right there. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Hey.
Hello, Maggie. All right, let me get my screens out here. This one. Okay. All right. So now I got to share my screen. This guy. Now I got to start a video, but the video is going to probably come on with sound, so I got to stop the sound first. So just bear with me because I'm not very technically smart. You probably noticed that already, long before tonight. All right. Oh, look at that. It did play. It didn't play. Okay, perfect. Let me get back to the first then again. All right.
Pizza pie.
Here we go. Now, the latest star data from the Gaia Space Observatory has for the first time allowed astronomers to generate a massive 3D atlas of widely separated binary stars within about 3,000 light years of Earth, 1.3 million of them. The one-of-a-kind atlas, created by Karim El-Badri, an astrophysics PhD student from the University of California in Berkeley, should be a boon for those who study binary stars. I'm just going to pause that for a second because this is what I want to show you. Take a look at these as they're going by. These double stars, these binary stars.
Wow.
Over 1.3 million of them within 3,000 light years of Earth. I had no idea. And you can see how they're paired up here, right, as they're going. This is a 3D atlas of them. Now they make up at least half of all sun-like stars and white dwarfs, exoplanets, and stellar evolution as well in general. Well, before Gaia, the last compilation of nearby binary stars assembled using data from the now defunct Hipparcos satellite included about 200 likely pairs. So we found 1.3 million now within 3,000 light years of Earth.
Wow, that's crazy.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Now Gaia, that's all because of this Gaia spacecraft, which is, I'm going to bring up on my next slide here. This guy. So this is Gaia. Gaia is called the Global Astrometric Interferometer for Astrophysics, and it's a European Space Agency astronomical observatory mission. And its goal is to create the largest, most precise three-dimensional map of the Milky Way by surveying about 1% of the galaxy's 100 billion stars. And so far, it has plotted the location of 1.3 billion stars. The precise location of 1.3 billion stars in the Milky Way. Unbelievable. Like they're getting more data now than they have in all of the research since they started with telescopes. They have more data already from this one spacecraft. So what it's doing is it's making a circular path around the sky, and it takes a snapshot, and then it takes another snapshot within another 70 days, I believe it is. So it's just continually taking snapshots of the sky. And they can check the movement of stars based on the data that it gets from it. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I do want to do a talk on this particular one. But there's a way that they find that they're either binary stars that actually do orbit a center, a mass, or that they appear to be binaries, but really one is farther away than the other. One's going in the other direction. This Gaia spacecraft can actually plot the direction of all the stars too. So we're going to talk about how it's plotting the stars of the Hyades cluster, where are the Pleiades stars going. It shows all the directions of all the stars. It's amazing. Now Gaia will detect and very accurately measure the motion of each star in its orbit around the center of the galaxy. Each of the 1 billion stars that Gaia studies will be observed an average of 70 times over 5 years to create a record of the brightness and the position of each star over time. Pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
And of course, we're going to get to Starship next. We're at SN10, so SpaceX's third high-altitude Starship prototype appears to have successfully ignited its trio of Raptor engines. It did. Actually, one of the Raptors, they didn't like the response from, so they pulled it out and they replaced it. So that's boosting the odds now of another launch and landing attempt sometime this week, following a prior attempt aborted before propellant began on February 22nd. SpaceX managed to turn around Starship serial number SN10 and its launch facilities for a second attempt 24 hours later. Now, unlike Starship SN9, which went through 4 torturous weeks of scrubbed, aborted, and off nominal static fire, test attempts before, actually I spun ahead there to one slide, there we go. Before finally being cleared for flight, Starship's SN10 seemingly sidestepped a similar fate and ignited its Raptor engines without obvious issue after just 2 days of real attempts. Of course, it remains to be seen if the test was truly successful, but the most recent news suggests that SN10 could take flight as early as tomorrow afternoon. So watch the news. And SpaceX, of course, Elon Musk is continuing to focus on Starship as the vehicle to get humans to Mars. There will be many more tests to watch for in the future, so it's kind of exciting stuff too. We saw the last two kind of explode at contact. This one here, though, hoping for more. And he'll get it eventually. There's no doubt in
Yeah.
my mind. Yeah, he'll get it. So,
Got to sell a lot of roadsters.
yeah, for sure. Okay, this one. NASA Mars 2020 Perseverance rover, of course, that's been all the news this week, got its first high-definition look around its new home in Jezero Crater on February 21st after rotating its mast, or its head, 360 degrees, allowing for the rover's mass cam instrument to capture its first panorama after touching down on the red planet on February the 18th. Zoom in a little bit. A lot of clarity there.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it was the rover's second panorama ever, as the rover's navigation cameras, or nav cams, also located to the mast, captured a 360-degree view on February 20th. Now, the cameras will help scientists assess the geologic history and atmospheric conditions of Jezero Crater, and will assist in identifying rocks and sediments worthy of a closer look by the rover's other instruments. The cameras will also help the mission determine which rocks the rover should sample and collect for eventual return to Earth in the future. Now, stitched together from 142 images, this newly released panorama reveals the crater rim and cliff face of an ancient river delta in the distance. The camera's system can reveal details as small as 3 to 5 millimeters across near the rover and 2 to 3 meters in the distant slopes along the horizon. And they also have one here that they're calling the Harbor Seal Rock. There it is. See that guy?
Yep.
I'm just waiting for the conspiracy theorists to come out and say
Gonna
that's
say,
kind of
We're
a,
getting ahead.
yeah. The Harbor Seal Rock, that's one of the ones they found. And there is kind of a neat little thing on this too. On a special note, there has been an amazing amount of engineering and thought that has gone into this mission. And there's even some neat little extras like this one. Let me bring it back now a little bit. I gotta find it again. It's on the rover itself. And if we zoom in right here, you're going to see a little plaque right there. And that's a plaque on the rover which shows all of the rovers that have safely made it to the surface of Mars, including Little Sojourner, Curiosity and Spirit,
Oh.
or Spirit and Opportunity, sorry, and Curiosity, and now, of course, the Perseverance. So little things like that.
Scroll out just a little bit.
Okay.
Keep going. Hold right there. Right underneath your arrow. There's a little thing sticking up there.
In here? Right here. Oh, joystick.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it a joystick for the aliens to
That
take
is. Yeah, it's for the Martians.
Okay, I was wondering.
So they just talked to them and asked them to turn it around. Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
You would pick that up. Now the detail here is fantastic. These must be the marks left by the jet exhaust, or the exhaust, I suppose, from the part that dropped it on the surface. But you can see
The sky crane, yeah.
Yeah, sky crane. There's some mountains there in the distance, but they're going to get so much information out of this area. It's very rich, right? They're already they're so excited about what they're seeing so far. So, lots to come, for sure. Okay. Okay. Is that one? Where am I at next? Oh, yeah, okay.
I guess that's a sundial.
Which one? That one?
That's-
Oh, yeah,
that's-
that one, that one? Okay, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Thanks for that.
And finally, the most distant object in our solar system has now been identified by astronomers. It's been given the fitting name of Far, Far Out, and it's classified as a planetoid. This means that it's too small to be considered a planet or a dwarf planet, but it's still a mass that orbits the sun. There was once a time when astronomers thought Pluto was the most distant object orbiting the sun. Now, advances in technology mean scientists now have a much deeper gaze into the space. Scientifically known as 2018 AG37, Far, Far Out is around 12.4 billion miles from the sun. In comparison, Earth is only about 93 million miles, or 160 million kilometers from the sun. Dwarf planet Pluto is about 5.9 billion kilometers away. However, Far, Far Out occasionally moves closer to the sun and Earth on its 1,000-year orbit path. Its orbit shape means that there is a point every 1,000 years when Far, Far Out becomes closer to the sun than both Neptune and Pluto. So it might be the furthest object in our solar system for now, but it won't be that way. It won't always keep that title. Far, far out's 1,000-year orbit. 1,000-year orbit time means the researchers have had to study it for years to determine its trajectory. It was actually discovered back in 2018, but its exact distance hadn't been determined until recently. Astronomers think it's about 400 kilometers wide. It will remain under observation and eventually be given an official name that's more serious than far, far out, and less data specific than 2018 AG 37. And not to be confused with pretty far out, PFO Observatory. And that's what's new in space this week. So I'll stop presenting.
That's very cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the Mars mission is going to be just awesome. Like the stuff they're going to come out with is just already they've got a microphone. First time they've taken a microphone. Well, they've taken them on 3 times, but the first time that it's actually been activated, I guess, apparently. So actually listen to the sounds of Mars. I'm pretty quiet up there for sure. Not too much to listen to. But
until the guys come along and try to go, run away, the camera's turning again.
We watched this movie yesterday about Mars, and a fantasy movie, of course. And it was about these people that were getting ready to come back from Mars. They had been there for a while, and they were collecting data and collecting samples. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these aliens attacked their bodies. So it was kind of like, those zombie movies where people, come like the living dead.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it turned into that.
So did you decide not to go to Mars now, or?
No, I want to go even more. So now.
Okay. Be some great scenery shots out there. All that landscape, nothing on it. It's just brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? I just saw an image the other day. It was the Milky Way taken from Mars. It was quite incredible.
Really?
Well, that's not the ones I've been seeing going around there, I assume.
Yeah, it's just the Milky Way, like as if you were looking due south, right up from the.
Yeah, I think somebody went up with a Skywatcher HEQ6R.
Oh, oh really?
Well, I wondered if that was real or not because we see it from here. Why wouldn't you see it from there? Yeah,
true.
because it's darker skies there.
Yeah, no, that was a man-made one.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why they couldn't get a shot of it.
Well, I suppose if you're up there and
Dark sky, you got no lights.
yeah,
That would probably be an incredible shot. There's no atmosphere to speak of.
yeah.
So I'm sure they could, turn one of those cameras up towards the Milky Way and capture a shot at night.
Oh, it should
It'd be like a land-based Hubble.
Yeah.
Because there'd be no atmosphere you'd have to really worry about. Can you imagine? Well, there's another reason for us to go to Mars.
Well, there you go.
Oh, wait. What's that?
Just for astrophotography.
Just for astrophotography.
That's right.
I have to talk to Ken and say, do your lenses work in a vacuum?
It's not that shot, you shy.
No, that was Mars. Now I'm hungry.
Milky Way from Mars.
Yeah, me too. Go up and get an up or something.
That was a coffee crisp.
Okay, let's get back to seriousness. We're going to talk a little bit today about galaxy season.
Yeah.
And what that all means.
By the way, I'm wearing my hat of shame tonight.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, 5 losses in a row.
Yeah, that is a hat of shame. But you're dedicated, so it'll happen, maybe.
Yeah, I'm loyal. I'm not pleased, but I'm loyal.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about galaxy season and what that means for all of us. So really what's happening right now is that our planet and our solar system is actually tilted in a different direction. So we're kind of looking north out of the plane of the galaxy towards an area where there are lots of galaxies. And we're talking about the area around the Virgo Cluster. Who wants to, Mike, do you want to show it, or do I bring on a stellarium, or how are we going to go about this?
The Virgo Cluster?
Well, just the...
in that area?
Yeah, in that area, I guess.
I can quickly put up this here.
Oh, Trudy says there's a new coach for the Habs. Oh no, maybe you need a new coach
Yeah,
for the
there's
Habs.
a new coach. He's got 2 games in, and he's 0-2.
Oh,
That's a good.
a new temporary coach for the Habs.
I think he'll come around a bit, but
Won't be paying the big bonus there.
Yeah.
So I'm using Starry Night Pro Plus 6 is the software you're looking at. And what I've done is I've gone to the options and taken out everything except Messier items and galaxies. And so every dot that you see on here, every green circle is a galaxy of some sort. And they talk about the realm of galaxies being right in here between the back end of Leo, which is Denobula, and coming down to Venetrimix. If you drew a line through, that is the Virgo cluster that I believe that they talk about when you're talking about the realm of galaxies. And when I was showing Paul and Chris earlier, you see all these little green circles. The moon's up there almost in the center of it right now. So if you went out with your scope or binoculars, you're not going to see much. But if I started slowly zooming in, watch the amount of green circles that show up. It just gets incredible. And these are all galaxies.
well,
An article I was reading was saying if you're looking in that area with a small telescope or binoculars, what you think are stars are probably galaxies because you're seeing more galaxies than stars in that area. And the reason why is Coma Berenices is considered right now at the center of the galactic North Pole. So you're looking, if the Milky Way was a plate, you're looking straight up perpendicular away from the plate up through Coma Berenices, and that's where this realm of galaxies exists. And that's why you can see so many. There's the stars aren't there like they're in the band of the Milky Way where you've got billions and billions of stars. There's still hundreds of thousands of stars out there, but there's in this area you can actually see more galaxies than stars. So they say.
Well, there are a number that are in there, Messier objects that are really nice, like M87. We were talking about that just before we went live here. And,
M87 is the large one in Virgo. I can just magnify and zoom in on that one.
Yeah.
Now, these are just DSS photographs on the software as you zoom in. And you say that that one's got that large black hole in it, Chris?
Yeah, that's the one with that they took the image of a black hole the first time they had imaged a black hole last year, I believe it was. M87, if we talk about the Milky Way Galaxy as having about 400 billion stars, M87 is known to have it has several trillion stars for sure.
Crazy.
We have about 150 globular clusters that surround our Milky Way. They're clusters of stars, big balls of stars, about 100,000, 200,000 sometimes in a ball of stars. So we have 150 of those. Virgo Galaxy here, M87, has about 15,000 globular clusters. So it's massive, a massively large galaxy located 54 million light years away, actually, discovered back in 1781. And it is magnitude 9.6, so it can be visible in a small telescope. There is actually a jet of black hole powered steam that comes out from M87's core. That's the one.
Yeah, they say you can see it, but I don't know what kind of a scope you would need to see that jet out of there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was revealed by Hubble. It was in Hubble. Yeah, I've got an article up here that shows it Hubble. I'll share just one photo there, Mike. If I can. I'm just going to show that because that's not the largest galaxy, but just to get an idea how big it is.
In that one area alone, there's more than 12 or 13 of your Messiers too that you would be hunting for in a Messier Marathon.
Right.
All in that one spot.
Here's a bit what we're talking about. So here's the Milky Way Galaxy. There's Andromeda. So Milky Way about 400 billion stars. Andromeda about 1 trillion stars. M87 several trillion stars. And then we got this big monster down here called IC1101. And they say that IC1101 has about 100 trillion stars. So,
wow,
some massive stuff there. We do look pretty small.
I wonder if that's where they filmed Star Wars.
Yeah, probably. Maybe all episodes. Yeah,
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Anyway, so back, yeah. So M87 is a nice target there. There's lots of Messiers, like Mike says, in that area of the sky.
Yeah, there's 85, 98, 100, 99, 53, 49, 61, 65, 66, 87, 49, 160, 90, and then 84 and 86.
Yeah.
All, bam, in one shot. You probably get them all in the same field of view. But it is interesting. There's, the fact that you can look away from the Milky Way band and that's what you see is just galaxy after galaxy after galaxy. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and when you're out under the dark sky and looking at those, and you still see them as a smudge. You're not going to see much more than a smudge still. But when you're starting to think about these things being 12 and 15 million light years away, and you're seeing a few of them in your eyepiece at the same time, especially like a nice wide field eyepiece, you start to put yourself in where, it starts to make you think about where you are in this whole scheme, right? There's over 2,000 galaxies in just that little cluster alone. Part of the Virgo cluster, which is part of the Virgo supercluster, which just gets larger and larger. But it is an amazing spot to take a look for sure.
I'll share again. If you want, I can play that little segment from that Sky News article that I thought was pretty good.
Sure.
This is Sky News, March 2015. It's called The Realm of Galaxies by Dwight Jones, and he's a member of the Lethbridge Astronomy Society. And I'll let the computer read it for you because I'm not a good reader. So let me know if you can hear this.
With the long-awaited arrival of spring, Earth's orbit takes us away from the plane of the Milky Way Galaxy during the warmer nights. Familiar winter constellations like Orion begin to set in the west with the onset of darkness, bringing the spring constellations of Leo, Virgo, Coma Berenices, and Ursa Major into prominence. It is within these that hosts of galaxies reside. The North Galactic Pole, the point in the sky directly over the center of our galaxy, is in the constellation Coma Berenices. With our night sky pointing away from the hustle and bustle of the plane of the Milky Way, we can see deep into the sky without objects being obscured or dimmed by looking through our galaxy. In spring skies, we are treated to views of the closest cluster of galaxies in Virgo, of which our local group of galaxies are outlying members. Here, galaxies are so numerous that they seem to outnumber the visible stars. Estimates of the total number are between 1,200 and 2,000, and the average distance is 53 million light years. A light year is about 10 trillion kilometers. As with virtually all clusters of galaxies, the Virgo cluster is anchored by large, massive elliptical galaxies, in this case the galaxies M49, 60, and 87. These main bodies are surrounded by clouds of lesser galaxies. The galaxy M87 is an extremely massive galaxy that contains 2.7 trillion stars with a supermassive black hole at the center. Visible in large amateur telescopes is one of the plasma jets emanating from the black hole, and is one of the best indicators of the existence of such objects. The Lethbridge Astronomy Society's C14 telescope has imaged this object using our special astrovideo camera, an amazing sight to behold. Can you see this host of galaxies easily? Even 10x50 binoculars will begin to show the fuzzy patches, with larger optics showing more. A 6-inch telescope will allow you to see all of the brighter members. The main area of the galaxy cluster is centered 2/3 of the way on a line drawn from Denebola, the bright star that forms the tail of Leo, and Vindineatrix, a relatively bright star 2,8 magnitude, in Virgo. Even in a modest telescope, so many galaxies become visible that identification becomes difficult. When viewing them, consider that these dim fuzzy patches represent huge stellar systems at immense distances, and that we, our galaxy, is a member of this family group.
That was a really interesting article I found on just that one, subject.
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you scroll across there, Mike, like we were mentioning too, that goes right up between Virgo and Leo and straight up to towards Ursa Major,
when I backed out and I have the horizon hidden, if you kind of look, there's a line that goes right down through Ursa Major, and it's almost like a line of galaxies right on down through Virgo, and just like when we see the line of the Milky Way coming down in the summertime, this is almost like a line of galaxies coming down in the springtime. There's just so much in there. Like if I go up around Ursa Major, because of course that's where we've all looked at 106 and 101 and 51, and now I finally clued into why, because there's so many galaxies in this area that I didn't realize the Big Dipper was actually part of it, and that's why, because you're looking away from the galactic plane of the Milky Way, and all of these galaxies are out there. When you're looking through billions and billions of stars, like down here through the center of the Milky Way, Cassiopeia, how would you spot a galaxy in there that, with all those stars in the way?
Exactly.
And this is the reason why this is the season for hunting galaxies, because you can look up perpendicularly away from the Milky Way, and that's what you get, nothing but nice sky and no stars in the way, and all those galaxies, thousands and thousands and thousands of galaxies. So
it's an awesome area for sure. There is, like you say, there's a number of Messiers in that area. Paul, there is the Leo Triplet there in that general area. Paul, did you have a picture of the Leo Triplet?
There's a shot I took of the Leo Triplet about a week ago. It's not the greatest, but it's there.
Okay. So
there.
Yeah. Okay. Can we go out, Mike, to take a look at where that is in relation to the cluster that we're talking about, or the area? So there it is, right there. Yeah. So there's Leo. And
so there's Nebula and the second star, and you almost make a triangle and come down. Now this software shows it a little different because it shows a Leo Triplet here, but it's actually 3 galaxies, these 2, and then this one.
Right.
That combine together to make the triplet. So you got M65, M66, and then I believe this one's an NGC that they don't list on this software.
So you were using for that scope, Mike, for that shot, what were you using for equipment?
That was my 110 millimeter Orion with a 777 millimeter focal length.
Okay, so wide field, but there you go with 3 galaxies at least. In that one field of view, and that's just one small area. Of course, that's not even the thicker area, I'll call it, of where all the galaxies are. Although you can see a lot of them right there.
Like I say, you just move down off the Nebula, and you're just, the sky is peppered with them. That's all it is there.
And it's an easy spot in the sky to find. Like if you just take Leo itself and just follow down to the left of his tail. And I knew that we're looking at our sky right now. This is at, what time are we at? 8:34, I guess.
Well, I got this set up for 11:34, 2 hours from now.
Yeah. So even at 8:34, we've still got them up. Like Leo is still up right now.
Yeah.
And it's probably 10 degrees, 20, well, maybe 12 degrees above the horizon right now. Virgo is just starting to rise right now, from our location anyway. So you still have an opportunity right now to go out and take a look at if you wanted to know where we're talking about, the moon is right in the same location tonight.
Yeah.
Because somebody did mention you should go out and look at the moon. Well, that's true. We were going to try to offer some of these objects tonight, but because of the bright moon, it would make it difficult to get into that area and offer some. But you can pan that area right there with just binoculars, and you'll begin, especially if you get into a dark spot, you'll begin to see some fuzzy little patches there, and you're really not looking at stars, you're looking at mostly galaxies. Awesome. Now you're going to get a better view, of course. The larger the telescope, the farther away you're going to be able to see things, the dimmer the object can be that you can see. So these are around magnitude 8, 9, so nice telescope, 6-inch or so, is going to give you a really nice view. But you don't need that necessarily. Even smaller telescopes will pick up the Leo Triplet. So you're not going to get a whole lot of detail, again, with your eyeball. We're not going to see that, but we're going to know that we're looking at hundreds of billions of stars in different galaxies in our eyepiece at the same time. So
yeah, you get a 10-inch stub out to that suburb of St. Martin's there, Trudy's, and
yeah,
that'd be a beautiful spot to do.
Now you just said that, I didn't.
Sorry, Trudy.
Okay, so that's what we wanted to mention, really, Paul. Anything else you want to add there? Is he still with us? I think he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's always so quiet.
He's so quiet.
No, I was just looking at, there's other places too. I mean, galaxy season doesn't just happen in between Leo and
Right.
But you can get, there's galaxies all over the place. And there's some galaxies in the northern portion of the sky as well. And those you can get sort of almost all year long. But there's a book I've got here, and it's called 100 Best Astrophotography Targets. And basically it's done by month. So basically between March and April, that whole area is all galaxies. And there's a ton of galaxies that are in there. And one of my favorites is M81, M82. And basically, for those who don't know where it is, you just got to find the Big Dipper. And
it's like galaxies aren't all the better galaxies aren't located there. It's kind of like not all the good things in the sky are in Cygnus. I can kind of compare. I can see that relationship.
I don't know. I think I might argue.
We'll get you turned around soon enough. This is springtime.
Oh, wow.
Get that wide-angle lens out there. I want some nice galaxy shots.
Okay, so I'm going to show you where to find those two targets. So if you're looking at the night sky, I'll pull it back so you can see it. So if you're facing north, you're going to, of course, see the North Star right there. And then the North Star, I'll label the, I'll try and label the, there we go. So there's Ursa Minor, and the North Star is right here, so facing right north. And this time of year, as you get into spring and summer, in early evening, Ursa Major will start to be on, just look at it as if it's a clock. So Ursa Major will be around, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock on an early evening. And as the summer progresses, you'll start to see an early evening that's going to get up higher and higher. So right from basically the summer, or the spring rather, right through to the summer, this is where it'll be in early evening, you have a really good opportunity of seeing M81 and M82. And they were my second galaxies I ever saw through a telescope. And how you find them is pretty easy. You just simply go to the bowl of the Big Dipper, and there's Mirac on the bottom and Dubhe in the right up there. So basically from there, I can pull this back a bit, you're going to see basically 3 really bright stars. This one is not so much in the Big Dipper, but it's the next brightest star you're going to see. So basically from that star back to this star here that is in the front of the Big Dipper, form just a little off angle triangle. And that's where you're going to find M81 and M82, known as the Cigar Galaxy, which is this one. Oops, see if I can get this right. There we go. And Bode Galaxy, which is this one. So that's a spiral, and this is a face-on elliptical. And if you look with your binoculars, I don't know if you can see the binoculars, but you certainly can see it in a telescope. There's another small galaxy right here. But these are the 2 most famous ones that people try to go after. Now, if you're into taking pictures, they're quite easy to get. And I'll just show you a picture I took of them right here. And so they weren't difficult targets because they're quite bright, and they come up quite nice. But these are a good target that you can practice on basically right from spring right through the summer, because the M81 will be up there pretty much for most of your observing time. Now, the reason they say that early evening for these northern galaxies is because most observers go out there as soon as it gets dark till a couple hours later. Then that's about it. At 2 o'clock in the morning, you can actually see a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to see in June if you want to stay up that late. So just look at the northern part of the sky as a clock.
Awesome.
That was a gorgeous shot too, Paul. Wow, very nice, man.
Yeah, nice shot. Okay. From there.
Silence.
Renat's asking, could you point out Arcturus? Arcturus. I'm not sure exactly.
Arcturus?
No,
Oh,
well, she said AR. What's that?
Arcturus. I think she says trying to say Arcturus.
That might be, yeah. If it's Arcturus, and we can just arc it to Arcturus.
Yep, I can actually tell you that because I just had it actually.
I got it up now if you want. Or...
No, okay, you go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So if you come down through Denobula in a straight line through Coma Berenices, you see Booties, and yeah, Arcturus is the brightest star. Now in the summertime, that's flipped the other way around, and the Big Dipper arm is going up instead of down, and Arcturus is above it, not below it, like Paul said, like a clock.
Can you zoom out there just a bit, Mike?
In or out?
Out. Yep. So yeah, we can do an arc to Arcturus too. So.
Yeah, the Big Dipper. You can arc following the arc of the arm here.
Yeah.
Right on down.
Arc to Arcturus and spike to Spica.
Spike to Spica. That's what we tell everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does work. That's how I find them.
In the summer at 10 o'clock at night, the Big Dipper is sitting pretty much overhead. So you can see Arcturus and Spica. So when you're doing your green laser point thing, it's really, really easy to see it because it's laid out so nicely in the sky. So
right.
Here's what makes me happy. Hercules is breaking the horizons here at 9 o'clock at night.
Yay.
And summer.
Yay.
Summer
It's coming.
Summer.
Oh, pretty soon you'll see Cygnus right up behind it.
Yeah.
Right up Arcturus.
Let's get that Leo. Let's get those Leo shots. Come on now.
That bird is flying back.
Some clear skies.
Oh yeah, we played Leo, didn't we? Sorry about that.
Leo Virgo. Come on, right there, right where Mike is right now. That's where we need some shots.
But like Paul said, there's galaxies all up through there. It's all part of that Virgo arm.
Yeah.
From the Virgo supercluster.
Actually,
which are all galaxies.
I'll share again. Oh, you're still share? Okay, I'll share again, and then Mike, we talked about this afternoon, so you guys can kind of chat about it. I take pictures of them, but you guys know stuff.
You know stuff.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Oh, there you go, Markarian's chain.
So I'm not sure how well this is going to go because I had to. But just to give you an idea, some of the galaxies that are there, these are the main ones in this particular cluster of galaxies. But if you look at all the spaces in behind, kind of take away all the bright lights, and everywhere you look, there are galaxies, and there are. I've never tried to count them just in this photograph, but there are at least. I bet you if I took the time to count them, I could count at least 75 of these little spludges here, and those are all galaxies.
Yeah, very rich part of the sky.
Unbelievable.
Awesome to see that much, that much in one shot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when you think of the actual angular size of that image, it's just like a thumbprint of what's out there.
Hundreds of billions of stars and maybe tens of billions of exotic worlds. Who knows, right?
Unbelievable. But if Mike, if your chart's still up, you can actually show them where Markarian's chart.
Yeah, I was just finding it here, and I'm ready to bring it up.
Yeah. Paul Crowder says a nice little asterism of stars near Arcturus resembling Napoleon's hat. That is true. There is an asterism there called Napoleon's hat.
So back in the center of that cluster again of galaxies between Denobula and Leo and Coma Berenices, if you zoom right in, almost dead center of that is that Mercurian's chain. And it's got M84, M86. Kind of comes around like this. And that was the shot you saw from Paul. I don't know if you were wide field enough to catch M88 in the corner of that or not, but you got 90% of this in here.
M88. Where's it at, Mike? Point it out for me again.
M84 and M86 are the two main ones in your shot, I think. And then that Mercurian's chain comes down through the eyes.
Yeah.
And then M88 is part of the end of the Mercurian's chain over here.
Yeah, no, the far out. I got it as far as I can't read your thing.
Yeah.
It's in red, but I didn't get quite that far out.
I'm not sure if M91 is part of it or not. It comes down in like an S pattern.
Yeah, it's a huge complex.
Oh yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
But amazing just to get that many. That's one of the best examples, I think, of galaxies tight or in one shot at the same time. One of the best examples. Although it might not be the best, because we're going to get a whole lot of them now from Paul. That's going to show us some even different ones. Like this, I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's my favorite season. Most wonderful time of the year.
In the middle of it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting in 8:46. We got to do a bit of a talk on. You got a Rosanna's fun facts talk to do, and we've got some photos to show. So we're gonna, and you know something, we talked a little bit about the Messier Marathon. We didn't talk about it yet, but I think what we're going to do is probably going to be able to carry that over to next week, because it looks like around March the 12th, 13th is the time that they're suggesting that if you're going to try this Messier Marathon, that's the time to give it a try. So we got time yet to talk about it. So maybe next week will be our talk on Messier Marathon, and how to go about it, and how to see as many of those Messier objects in one night in a 24-hour period as you can.
Yeah, and they can get pretty messy, eh?
Oh, Messier, yeah. I just the things I got to put up with to get a picture from Leo. Oh yes, Paul. Oh, hardy har.
Ho ho ho.
Okay, let's go with Rosanna's fun facts.
All right, let me try to find it. I just shrunk it. Honey, I shrunk the kids.
Oh.
Okay, just bear with me for a second.
Sure.
There we go. Okay, so let's see. I guess I got to share my screen first, don't I? Entire screen. There. Share. My care. Share bear care. Share.
There.
There. Hey. Look who's
and
that.
now it's time for
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey. Thanks
Wow,
again,
hello.
Peter.
Good to see you again this week, Rosanna. Okay, well, Rosanna wrote another great fun fact for us this week. And she says, warning, this one is very weird and nerdy, but so am I. So she says, a few weeks ago, we talked about the Goldilocks zone, meaning exoplanets that have possible potential to support life. But what about the three bears, or just generally bears in space? Ursa Major, of course, is the ruling bear of our solar system, and the first space bear, along with Ursa Minor, that come to mind. So if you have been spending some COVID time immersing yourself in the Lord of Rings movies or books, this constellation is known as Valasurca and the sickle of valor. It is the most important constellation of Middle Earth. But perhaps there are some other bear-related space thoughts that are out there. According to a weird report, tardigrades, informally known as space bears, are one of the most fascinating creatures on Earth and the moon. Last year, the Israel spacecraft Beresheet, can get it, Beresheet, crashed on the moon, spilling thousands of dehydrated tardigrades that scientists loaded onto the lander, along with human DNA samples. Now, the tardigrades were in ton form, a dormant state where they shrivel up into a ball, expel most of the water in their bodies, and lower their metabolism via cryptobiosis until they enter an environment better suited to sustain life. They can exist like this for decades. They're also pretty hardy and can endure the hardest environments, including sub-zero temperatures and crash landings. So, we were told in school that one could see the Great Wall of China from space. The Great Wall of China, frequently billed as the only man-made object visible from space, generally isn't, at least to the unaided eye in low Earth orbit. It certainly isn't visible from the moon. Now, according to BBC, one thing you can see and track from space are polar bears. Who knew? Polar bears are very difficult to spot from the air with human eyes, but modern satellite imagery is now so good, seeing objects at a resolution less than 0.5 meters, that it's possible to spot individual animals from space. This does boggle my mind a bit. So here is a pic of DigiGlobe satellite that imaged Rowley Island and Fox Base in Nunavut, located in seasonal ice region in the eastern Canadian Arctic Circle. I'm just going to make that a little bigger so you can see that. Yeah, it's not degrading. Yeah. So there are basically polar bears. That's what they're pointing at in the circle.
Wow.
Those are all bears. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So for you gamers out there, there is a Steam-powered game entitled Bears in Space. Now, see the video below, and actually, I'm not going to play a video, but I will show you the thing. And of all game music out there, I'm not sure I could stand a loop of it, but the graphics are explosive. And at the last barely related bear item I could scrounge up, did you know that the atmospheric surface pressure on Venus is higher than the bite pressure of a grizzly bear?
Wow.
So the atmospheric surface pressure on Venus is higher than a bite of a grizzly bear. That's unbelievable. I'm not sure who did the research on the fact, but I hope it was the theoretical equations on a computer and not human experience. So Rosanna, she says, thank you for bearing with me.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that was very good. Very
That's a
well
good one.
done. Very well done.
Very well done. Yeah.
Very well. And that was this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yay. Thank you, Rosanna.
Rosanna.
Thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, Paul, for presenting that. And
That's awesome.
Thank you, Peter Visma, for allowing us to continue to use your excellent introduction. Okay, I got some photos to share because we're getting into the 8:53, so we probably should get those underway very quickly here.
They were actually talking about those tardigrades last night in a documentary I was watching, say that it's possible that there could be tardigrades on Titan.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just that they're extremophiles, right? And it's just the type of animal, or I guess you want to call it an animal, or life form that could exist in that type of atmosphere.
So they weren't taken there by Cassini
No,
Huygens,
no.
right? No.
They honestly believe that tardigrades were brought here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, just barely got here.
Yeah, barely made it.
Barely made it. Yeah. Oh, boy. Keep them coming.
Bear with us.
This capture of our snow moon was sent to me by Suzanne Nadette on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page. Nice capture there.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you're not seeing it? Did I not
No.
share?
I'm seeing us live on Facebook.
Huh? Yeah, it showed it on Facebook.
There we go.
It just showed it on Facebook. Now I'm going back again. Oh, gee. See, there's the delay. Let me try it again. There we go.
Weird.
Can you make it bigger?
There, how's that? Well, give it a second. It's going to come up.
Okay. I can barely see it.
There it is on YouTube. And it's on YouTube right at the moment. It's a little bit longer delay for Facebook. There should be Facebook.
Yeah, just shut up.
Now? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there is a lag between what I present here and when you see it out in TV land. Internet.
That is a gorgeous image.
Nice capture, eh? Yeah, very nice.
Beautiful.
Ah, beautiful.
Clouds really add to it very nicely. Very well done, Suzanne. And next up we have Marianne Mitten, who also sent us this. Oh, sure, not that one. This one. This photo. Came in through the Facebook page as well. The snow moon. You guys getting that yet?
Nope.
Okay, not showing up on Facebook yet, right?
No.
There it is. Nope, here it comes back. It's coming back.
That's okay.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm live here in my spot here, and I'm sending it out on OBS software, and then that sends it out to splits the stream to YouTube and Facebook, and then I'm watching the YouTube and Facebook views back again. So I'm seeing what you're seeing when you're viewing it there at home. So I can see it pop up here, but it's usually about a 6-second delay on YouTube from the time I broadcast it out to the time it gets to you, and as well with Facebook, it's about another 8 seconds. So yeah, it can be a little bit slow, but anyway, there's the image. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to move along here to David Smard, who sent me this one of the Orion Nebula. Awesome, David. Always nice capture. A bright target, but always nice to take a look at it. It's so bright, visible to your naked eye, of course, but once you start getting in there and getting some detail, it can really present itself very nicely.
Yeah, trapezium is there.
Yeah. He got this one too. The moon with a 6-inch celestron on an Ioptron ZEQ25, and he used this 35 DSLR, 35 DSLR Canon camera.
You got a really good shot of that.
Beautiful.
Another nice moon shot.
Yeah. Now I get to Stefan Picard here. Stefan says, hi Chris, couple of stacked images of the moon from this past Sunday. The picture of Copernicus crater. He said, I followed Paul's recommendation to go darker when adjusting the color, and it came out really good. It sure did. There's a nice little mountain peak there in the center. Copernicus always presents very well, doesn't it? These nice terraced walls around it. The second picture he's got here says of the southern part of the moon. It looks like I captured just at the tip of a crater peak right at the pole in the shaded area. So he has got lots of detail there right along the Terminator line, which you usually get to see. He says it's fun to learn from you guys. So thanks, Stefan.
Yeah, great shots.
This one comes from Deanna King, February 23rd. She sent this one in. She says tonight's shot at 7:15 p.m. from Keswick.
What's a nice crater?
Oh, that's why I'm seeing the leg on the main screen, because you got Facebook up on the main screen. There, now I'm seeing stars.
Now you're seeing, yeah. Well, that's Deanna King's shot. February 23rd.
Orion on the moon?
And Orion on the moon, yes.
Right on.
Nicely done. I'm going to wait till you guys see this one, I guess. This one came in from Caribbean.
Come in from the Caribbean?
Caribbean. Caribbean. Come in from the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nice, eh? So she says, this evening's full moon rising over the sculptor in St. Stephen. It's actually a composite photo, she said. One exposure for the moon and another for the sculpture. But
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Great shot.
Nicely done. This one came from some guy by the name of Mike Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic shot.
Yep. Lots of color detail on that, Mike.
I don't see it yet.
There is quite a leg there tonight. There it is.
Facebook. There it is.
Oh, yes, that was the attempt at getting the colors of the moon.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
fantastic.
You did very, and I mean, we don't really see the moon we don't think of the moon as having color, but it does.
It does, yeah.
It's funny because I was researching to try to find what is the true color of the moon, and I found a NASA shot. And there's, of course, you think the blues are bluer and the browns are browner, but even NASA admitted that they've overexposed those colors. So here I was shooting for more blue and, like lighter browns, and it turns out that that's not the case. So, but I'm still working on it. It's a project in progress. So we're getting there.
Amazing capture. Very nice. Lots of detail.
Everything about that is great.
Comes right alive. And I got this one from some guy by the name of Paul Owen.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, we're talking moon tonight, so I grabbed one. I go snooping in these guys' pages quite a bit, where I see their posts anyway, so I just go back and when I want to add a photo, I do. And,
When all else fails, eh?
yeah, what all else is. Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta
that
fill
one.
out the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous shot.
Nice shot. Yeah. I mean, it's all about your framing, right?
Well, that one was just that moon was setting, and in Hampton there's we have the Farmer Save, and I was out there about 7 o'clock in the morning, not a car in the parking lot, and this was going down, and I started. The clouds were starting to get into the clouds, so I thought I got to get the shot, and but I'm really glad that the clouds were there because it just added a really cool texture to it, you know.
Sure did.
That
Yeah.
shot deserved to be hunted down. That's
There you go.
beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out good.
Nicely done. All right,
Nice.
we're going to move ahead to a couple more, just a couple more to go. We got Brad Kraft here. He says, "Hi, Chris. Here are a couple of pics I captured last week on the way to work. The moon setting and the sun rising over ice-covered trees in South Bay. Both were captured using a Samsung Note 20 Ultra. So Samsung phones are getting pretty good.
Yeah, we're getting so good.
Waiting for your shot to come up on Facebook, Mike. I know. There it is.
Oh wow,
And
really nice.
Oh, gorgeous.
this is sun.
So where would you see that?
He said the moon setting and the sun rising over ice-covered trees in South Bay.
Oh,
Wow.
so okay.
With a phone.
Yeah, with a phone.
Yeah, it looks like he used the trees as a picture frame.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gorgeous.
great shot.
Oh, that's
Goodness.
gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
Love that time of day.
Yes.
Nothing like it.
Awesome. And Denise Gauthier sent me this one tonight, just before we went on the air, actually. And it's our snow moon. I guess that might have been tonight's rising moon. I believe it looks like it's a little out of, not quite round, so we might have lost just a couple of percent there on the far side. So it's
Oh, okay.
starting to.
I'm still looking at the one with the trees and the ice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It takes a
There we
bit.
are.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
So not
Oh,
quite round, so it might have just lost maybe 1%, but maybe it was from the snowman. I'm not sure. She did send it in tonight anyway, so I think it was tonight's post. So
That's as
Anyway.
close as it gets.
that is exactly. So that's what we had for photos. Okay, so I'll stop presenting. So
Excellent.
thanks so much for everybody for sending those in. That's always nice to
Yeah.
be able to look at somebody else's work and to enjoy somebody else's posts for sure. Stefan asked, "What were your settings, Paul, when you did your shot?" I guess.
The one that you just showed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Maybe you could message Stefan.
Yeah. I think that one was like ISO probably 200 and probably about 1/200th of a second, and aperture would have been probably about 6.3 because I was using a telephoto lens for that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So I guess, well, we're going to wrap that up. We're going to now remember next week we're going to talk more about. We are looking at the Messier Marathon. Let me bring that one picture up just for a second. Thanks, guys, for all the support as usual. Gee. This is what I have to go through to get the show in the air.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to try to bring up a picture here if I can, just before we sign off. I got it sitting somewhere here. It's in this folder.
We barely make it through.
Help me.
As
Nice.
CDB says, unbearable. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Okay, let me, I think I can get it from this image here. I'm just going to share my screen. If I can find my mouse here and my 6 monitors again. Here we go. Over this way. There it is. Okay. Present now. There's screen. So I'll go to this one. Just for last sign off, just before we sign off, just a couple of quick photos. And full screen. So we did want to take a peek just quickly at. Oh, is that the one? This is the one, I think. There. So there's the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's the Messier.
Look at how many of them are galaxies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
And-
majority are.
in globular
I think
clusters.
maybe 7 galaxies, if memory's any good.
Yeah.
But you have to count them all to see. Majority of your galaxies, the next ones are nebulous. Or no, clusters. What am I saying?
Globular clusters.
Yeah, globs and open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's your targets. Those are your 110 targets for the Messier Marathon. So the idea is to try to capture all of those, or as many as you can, I guess, in a 24-hour period. So some appear just before sunrise, some appear just after sunset. So you could start, I think, after sunset and then go through to the morning. But you're going to be pretty well 24-hour period to capture all of them. But that's the idea right there, is to try to capture as many of them, and just like this too. Well, no, I mean, if you can see them all, then it's kind of like a rite of passage kind of thing. I've never done it, but I would like to try it.
Yeah, it's purely visual, and it's an all-nighter.
Yeah,
it is.
Now there's a go-to that you can use, I know, but it's probably meant not to be go-to. It's meant to try to find them on your own. But I think Emil had done it, and he said it was really tough, I believe, to try to get them all on your own, because you have a limited time, right?
It's acceptable to use go-to now, but the goal was to do them manually.
Right. Yeah.
So when is it, March or April?
I believe it's March the 12th, 13th is when we're into
March.
new moon. Yeah, so that's around the new moon part, I believe. So I think I was reading a few places today that were suggesting around the March 13th, which is a Saturday night kind of thing.
When's the time going ahead? When we're gaining an hour of daylight.
March 21st. So,
yeah, the week after. Yeah.
So you're still getting more than 12 hours of nighttime as well, just over 12 hours of nighttime.
Right. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Get to a high spot, get all set up before the sun sets. Because just after sunset, you have to get your first target, or you're not going to get them all.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we'll do that some next week, and we'll get it all planned out for everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll sit down, and I mean, there are Messier lists, or there are Messier Marathon sheets out there, I know, and I believe there are sites that you can go to where you can plug in your coordinates, and then it'll basically tell you, okay, start for this one at this time, and start them in this order kind of thing, right? So we'll talk more about Messier Marathon next week. And that's really, we're talking all about galaxies. So a lot of them are galaxies, star globular clusters, open clusters. So really some nice variety of targets for sure. So folks, I guess we're going to call that a night. It's 10 after 9, so we're a little bit past our time already. Wow, it goes by fast, doesn't it?
Wow.
All right. What's that?
Before you know it.
Yeah. Okay, so in closing tonight, again, I wanted to mention that thank you again, all of you, for your continued support out there. Thanks again to Rosanna as well for continued contributions to our show. Really enjoy the segments. Really appreciate your hard work on those. Thanks as well to all the great folks at Astronomy Plus for sponsoring our weekly broadcast here. Remember, too, we do love getting your photos, so send them to SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. I promise very soon I'm going to shorten that address up, but that's an easy one to remember if you don't mind typing it out. Or you can just send them to my Facebook page as well, Astronomy by the Bay, or send them to one of these guys, too. They'll send them on to me. And we'd be happy to include them on our next broadcast. Also, we're looking for suggestions for topics for future shows. I do have a list of them. Actually, I printed the list off over here, so I'm going to be going through this list with these guys for topics for future shows. We're going to set out some dates ahead. We're going to actually plan our shows ahead sometime. But we've got lots of ideas that we can present, and they're ideas that you're looking for. I mean, we are here to try to offer our information and to try to help teach if we can. So if there are topics that you're interested in, please let us know. You can send them to the same address, SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. And we'll be happy to include them as well in our listing of next topics. Also, we do ask that if you enjoyed the program tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And please let your family and friends know as well that we are here every Sunday night at the same time. Same bat time, same bat channel. To help educate and entertain you a bit on the night sky. So for now then, from Paul and Mike and I, stay safe everybody out there. We wish you all clear skies, and we hope to see you again here next week. And as we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Cue the music. Good evening, everyone. Have a great week. Y'all come back now, you hear?